Welcome to the Sleevy G Show. I'm your host, your most. My name is Gomez, and like every night here at the Sleevy G Show, I have an amazing young lady who is really top in the charts, and she's an award-winning singer, songwriter, and she plays all different types of instruments in her music. Please welcome Sierra Lev, I can't even say Lev. You can say it for me.
SierraLevesque, thank you.
Levesque. Levesque, sorry. Yeah, she told me before the
All
show started 30 seconds ago, and I can't even get that name correctly.
good. No problem.
Sierra, how are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks so much for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you jumping on because I have to say, seeing your music, and I feel like you're like a one band lady on some of your music. Now, here's the thing, you are opening act for some big names: LA Guns, Faster Pussycat, Killer Dwarfs, and Glass Tiger. You have over 1 million streams over Spotify, and you're at a young age. How did this come about? I guess, how did you get the feel for your music?
Yeah, well, ever since I was 3, my parents kind of saw my interest in it. Back then, at that age, they heard me singing all the words to an Avril Lavigne song in the car, and that's when they realized that I had memorized it. So they thought, okay, well, clearly she's interested. So they actually put me into musical theater at that age. I did a whole bunch of plays, and I was like Annie and all this stuff. And that really helped with, memorizing things,
Mhm.
singing live, projecting far. But then there was a point where, it was kind of like, should I choose to go down the Broadway musical theater aspect? I'm not too good at dancing, so that was a big factor in that. But, or I grew up listening to Guns N' Roses, Ozzy, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue. I loved watching videos of Axl singing. And so there was a time where my parents said, hey, want to go down like the instrument and rock path or the Broadway path? And I chose instruments and rock. So yeah, I started learning how to play piano and taking singing lessons when I was 7. Then I started doing drums at age 10, guitar at age 12, bass at age 13, and from there it's just been putting it all together over the years. I've been writing so many original songs and learning all the parts, writing all the parts myself. It's also because, I'm from a small town in Canada, so if I were to have back then try to put more of a band together or something, it would have been very
Mhm.
difficult. There wasn't too many people. So, yeah, I just decided, you know what? Everything I do, I'm going to try to do it best I can myself. And that's kind of what's led me to today, still doing it. It's something that people don't see all the time. I'm asked a lot, oh, why don't you have a band and stuff? But yeah, I mean, doing it myself right now has been great and fun. So it's just led to a lot of great opportunities, like opening for amazing bands who I love. I'm such an 80s rock fan, so I love them. And yeah, every release I do on Spotify is kind of just trying to see what people think of it. And luckily, they've liked it so far. So just
Oh,
excited. Keep going.
yeah. I mean, you do have a voice that does project, and your music, it really can relate to a lot of people. I
Thank you.
mean, as myself too, as a 45-year-old male, you know what I mean? But hearing your music, but hearing your words too is an amazing thing because you almost lay down a path of a story too to some of your songs. You know, I believe you're 20 or 21 right now.
20.
All right, so you're 20 years old. I mean, to get all these songs, how long have you been writing now for yourself?
Yeah, the first song I ever wrote was when I was 7. It was definitely not good. That one probably won't ever be coming out, but I really started seriously doing it when I was 12. I had a guitar teacher, my first guitar teacher. He would give me these assignments like, okay, I want you to try to write this type of song or write about this. And that's what kind of led me to start exploring all different, influences. I kind of write, sometimes I'll sit down and write like Joan Jett, or sometimes I'll have an influence from Guns N' Roses. So that's kind of where I started really focusing on writing as much as I could. And then also that's when I started learning how to record because that's a
Mhm.
whole thing. Like for me, writing comes a lot easier than recording everything.
Right.
But luckily, he helped me with learning how to do all that. So yeah, I've fully recorded now around 30, 35 songs. So there's like so many songs ready. And it's just been a process of now waiting to release them, seeing what I can do. But yeah, it all kind of started for me seriously around age 12.
Wow. I mean, that's what I call dedication though. But especially in your craft, like you said, you did the plays, you had an opportunity to do the Broadway musical type of thing. Hey, listen, no one can dance. I mean, my daughter, she's in a competition team dancing.
Oh wow.
And as parents, we have to do something this the week of recital almost. And I'm like, I can't do organized dance. I have to be like a free style, free spirit, do my own type of deal. But you know what? I give you and my daughter a lot of credit because I can only imagine the hours you put in, learning the guitar, the bass, the drums at young ages too, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Because some people, it takes them years to master a guitar or even drums
Hmm.
and bass. And maybe you're a handful of people that I know personally that can do that. One of my great friends is a musician, songwriter, singer, acoustic guitar, bass guitar, regular guitar, and drums. And I mean, when you could do that and really expose yourself is truly amazing. So I have to give you so much credit. I don't think I could even do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a process. I'm not really a master of anything yet. I mean, I'm always trying to learn as much as I can. When people ask me, like, what's your best instrument? I always say voice because that's what I'm like the most comfortable with.
Mhm.
But I do post a lot about guitar, so sometimes people think I'm only a guitarist, which is great because hey, if they think I'm that good, then I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
you could
hard.
feel the riffs a little bit, like you could hear a little bit of that 80s sound. Like, for instance, some of the bands you named, Guns N' Roses, Motley, Bon Jovi, Joan Jett, like if you had one influencer, it doesn't matter who it is, it can be male or female, who would be one of the major influences for your music?
For me, it's kind of two women combined into one. If we could make them one person, it would be
Sure.
Ann Wilson and Nancy Wilson combined.
Okay.
I
And
love singing and playing guitar. I kind of think that I'm almost like a mixture of them
well, I
sometimes.
mean, it's a great mixture to have because that's one thing, again, to do what you do is an amazing thing. Like
Thank you.
at a young age too. But I mean, I don't even know how to explain that because it's a great feat that you're doing.
Thank you.
And your videos too show it. You've done so many live shows, as a solo artist. Now, I have to ask, your very first time that you not even opened up for anybody, but you did your own show by yourself. How was it nerve-wracking? Was it excitement? Like, go through that a little bit with me.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first ever real live show I did was probably around the age of maybe 9 or 10, and it was one of the earliest ones I remember was a talent contest where I was singing someone else's song. But then I actually won it, and a part of the prize was that I got to go to a different little venue area and play 3 songs. So that was kind of the first thing I can remember.
Okay.
Um, Very nerve-wracking, just singing. So that was Little Sierra. But as the years went on, my first time ever playing and singing guitar for a show was like this showcase thing at a restaurant. I
Hmm.
kind of perform everywhere I can. I performed like literally on the back of trucks, in garages, in parks, with no one watching. So most shows have been, not too nerve-wracking, but that first time playing 2 instruments together was really, really worrying because I hadn't ever done that. And over the years, I've kind of tried to add more to it. So now my live show is I usually play guitar and sing, acoustic and electric, but I do it over fully self-recorded backing tracks. So you kind of
Hmm.
like a full band. And the first time I started doing that, I was very nervous because I thought, man, people are going to be thinking I'm like doing some type of karaoke thing. They might think that I don't even know. They might think I'm kind of a fraud. So every time I do that, I always explain, hey guys, this is what you're hearing. I couldn't bring 5 of myself today, so I cloned myself, and you're listening to a band of Sierras. But yeah, each show I would say is definitely nerve wracking no matter where it is. Even if there's 0 people watching or 5,000, it's just about, I always try to make sure I leave knowing that I performed as best as I could and get better with each show. So live performing has always been something that I love and probably one of the things I love the most.
Now, like I said, you've opened up for some amazing acts. Who was your very first act that you opened for on the road? I guess is going to be another good question.
Yeah, man. Back in my hometown in Canada, we have this place called Festival Hall. That's like the biggest venue around. It's like a
Hmm.
very nice theater, about 600 seats, and we have a lot of tribute acts coming through there. So one
Okay.
of the first tribute acts I ever opened for was a Kiss tribute act, and then an AC/DC tribute act. So those ones were a lot of tributes. I felt like, hey, you know what? It's still Kiss. It's some version of Kiss. So hey,
Yeah.
I'll take it. But then the biggest band, yeah, the first time I opened for like a bigger band was Glass Tiger, who came through there, that
Mhm.
theater. And I was so excited because man, their songs I've definitely remembered growing up, and yeah, that was very cool and a fun opportunity. Again, anything 80s I love, so I was so excited to get that spot. But yeah, I mean, so many. There's been a lot of tribute bands, but then over the past few years is when I've gotten bigger and bigger bands, which has been nice.
Now, how was it to opening up for like LA Guns?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a whole situation. One day I got a DM on Instagram, just small town Canada for me, LA so far because like I always dreamed of living in LA and luckily I'm here now. But yeah, I got a DM on Instagram one day from a guy saying I book for the Whiskey A Go Go. And I thought, oh, it's a scam. I was thinking, man, like this is crazy. But then I looked at his account and he actually did. So we got on a phone call and he told me that there was two shows coming up that they needed opening acts for, 2 nights in a row.
Okay.
The first night is Faster Pussycat. And I was like, man, oh my God, I love Faster Pussycat. Then he said, and the second night is LA Guns. And I love LA Guns too. So I called my dad. I was like, man, we have the chance to do for both of them. And he couldn't believe it. So then leading up to the show, I was posting covers of each band on my accounts.
Hmm.
And I posted a cover of Ballad of Jane. And I tagged Tracy Guns. And on Twitter, he actually saw it. And I said, it would be a dream come true to play this song with you live at the Whiskey A Go Go when I open for you.
Oh my
And he said, he answered not even probably an hour later, he answered on Twitter and said, you got it. We're playing it in this tuning. See you in 6 months. So I was just thinking, man, anything could go wrong. Maybe he'll forget, maybe whatever. So I was excited. But the day came around. Faster Pussycat show went great, but then the next night was LA Guns, and they told me come down for sound check. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. So I went there. I rehearsed with them. I spoke to Phil, the lead singer. I was like, hey, I'm so excited. Whatever you want me to sing, I'll even just sing a backing vocal, like anything. He's like, you can sing it all, and I was like, oh my goodness.
God.
So
Oh
this
wow.
this is my first time at Whiskey A Go Go, first time performing in LA, and man, this opportunity is crazy. So my opening set was great. I did a whole bunch of originals. That was fun. But then I was so nervous for that night. And finally, it was one of the last songs where they invited me up on stage. And that's one of my best memories ever now is playing Ballad of Jane with them. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite shows I've ever done was opening for LA Guns and having that chance. So they're so nice. And thank you to Tracy and everyone for having me. But yeah, I hope to see them again because that was so fun.
And Whiskey Go has hosted a lot of amazing bands there.
Yes.
So, that's like a legendary spot.
Yes, I know. I was so excited even just to be in the building, yet on the stage, and then on the stage with that band because they've been one of the most famous bands from that venue as well. So I was
Mhm.
so excited. But yeah, that show was definitely one of my favorites. And
I mean, and
yeah,
just not just LA Guns and Faster Pussycat. There's been Motley Crue, John
yeah,
Bon Jovi, the people you named, even Guns N' Roses have played there when they started out. If you think about it, if you think about the '80s, you actually see Axl Rose in Welcome to the Jungle,
yes,
and, and you see him going there. You know what I mean? Or he was in the background. You see
yeah,
it. So it's just those amazing things, and especially for you as such a young lady to accomplish these things already is an amazing thing because you know you're pretty much you're going from grammar school for you're pretty much you're being, I don't know if you were homeschooled or you went to school or
yeah. I
what
just
was
went to
done.
regular school, but it was Catholic school, so
Ah,
some of my rock T-shirts I couldn't always wear, but other than that, it was fine. So yeah, they did luckily let me off quite a few times, but it's okay. I caught up on my homework, but yeah, man, I wasn't missing this show for anything. So I did have to leave school quite a few times growing
I
up.
can only imagine. I mean, I went to a Catholic school, so I know how it is. So, and if you had nuns, that's even worse. So I know how it
Oh
goes.
gosh, yeah, no, we didn't have any nuns at this one, but yeah, I was just like, man, I gotta go to do a rock show right now. I'll be back in 2 weeks. See ya.
Nice. And they're like, "What are you playing?" You don't want to know. Let me put
Yeah.
it this way: the Catholic school will not like what I'm playing.
Yes, yep, yeah. So, that was the only thing, but yeah, it was fun. I did enjoy school growing up. I was kind of like a weird phenomenon where I also was very grade oriented, which maybe helps me in my music.
Hmm.
People assume if you're doing music sometimes that you're not like focused on school as much, which is a weird thing to think. But yeah, I was always like very grade focused, and that's helped me with writing songs, with getting to deadlines, with like just creating goals. It's really helped me with that. So Yeah, I'm glad that I went to that school, or else maybe I wouldn't be as
Wh-
dedicated as I am.
I mean, one thing I could say for a Catholic school, they do push, even public school does too, to make sure children, it doesn't matter your age, but they try to push you in the right direction to get you into the right path. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just now you who are being taught, it doesn't matter if it's you or me, but applying what they've taught you to your everyday life is the thing. You know what I mean? Like you said. Now, you do have an album coming out soon, if I'm right.
Yes, yeah, I've been teasing it for quite a while. Like I said, I have 30 songs ready, so
Mm.
that's way too much for one album. I've settled on 13 tracks because
Okay.
one of the rock numbers. It was either that or 666, but that's way too many tracks. So
Yeah.
13 is what I went for. But yeah, it's gonna be coming out early September. I do a lot of TikTok live streaming to promote my music, and actually just yesterday I did the full track list run through on my live stream for
Okay.
so I've been doing that a lot just to get people's feedback, and it's going to be combined of pretty much every song I already have released, minus
Mm.
the Christmas ones, and then about 7 other songs that are unreleased for people to hear. So it'll be fun, and I'm just kind of doing a few singles to lead up to it. New Generation was the first single, one more single coming soon, and then the album in September. So I'm just excited to get it out there.
I'm looking forward to hearing the album. I'm actually looking forward to it. I actually have to see. I gotta follow you on TikTok because I would love to see that live too.
Thank you. Yes, yeah, it's fun. I go live twice a week. I play with my backing tracks, and people seem to like it. So it's a good way to just kind of see what people think.
Yeah, no, that it's true. I mean, like, to see what people's interpretations are to the music, and you probably get good feedback, and then you get one or two jokers that are like,
Yeah.
which I get. I mean, it happens everywhere you go, you know what I mean? But the thing is how dedicated and how hard you're working, you know what I mean? So that's the key. Now, with producing your music, have you worked with any producers at this point? Like,
Yeah, right now it's kind of been mostly me. I self-record everything at my home studio, and then I send all the tracks over to Ron Bumblefoot Thal, who is also my guitar teacher, but he's worked with Guns N' Roses, he's worked with so many bands, and he has his own music that he's produced, and I love his music. So he kind of helps me co-produce, mix, master.
mhm,
That's the one thing that I'm not as comfortable with yet is just getting the final product, sounding clean.
right.
I'm I feel pretty good about you know, all the production choices and recording, but the mixing and mastering is what I've needed help with. So yeah, we just have these Zoom sessions. We mix everything virtually, and he's done all 30 songs that I have so far, and I'm planning on continuing to work with him until maybe one day I can do it all myself, but sometimes I do need to ask for help, which is a little difficult for me sometimes. But
I get it.
for this, I do appreciate his help on, getting everything correctly situated. So yeah, he's been co-producing everything with me.
I totally understand that part of asking for help because I'm the same way. I like to do my own thing too, and to ask for help or ask for any kind of, like you said, help. It's sometimes difficult if you're a proud person when you do things on your own. I get that it's not easy, and one thing I've learned as recently is asking for help. It doesn't hurt because there's somebody that will be there to help you along the way.
Yes, for sure. And he's very, very talented. He always knows exactly what I'm trying to hear. He always knows how to get to that. So I'm
Hmm.
really like grateful for his mentorship and his help. And I feel like a lot of these songs wouldn't be what they are without his help on me achieving the sound that I want. Especially like my most recent ones, Authority, New Generation. There was things in there that I wouldn't even know how to do or how to make that sound. So I'm lucky that he's there to help me and show me how.
And that's one thing it's always good to have not just a partnership, but also a mentorship in
Yes.
that sense too, because having somebody like that walk you through it, mentor you a little bit, make you, know like, hey, this doesn't work. We need to change it. Well, what do I need to do? Like, at least you're not shutting down ideas. You're working with the ideas. That's the thing I've seen. And I'm not saying it happens to everybody, but you could see where some people will shut it down and like, hey, I didn't like it, or something didn't sound right. But at least that partnership right there could go a long way too.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's definitely helped me with a lot, and he's even got me some show opportunities. The opening act shows that I did for Killer Dwarfs, he helped me get because he knows them in that band very well. So very grateful for that. He helped me to perform at a music festival up near Alaska in Yukon. He was like the one who organized all that, so that was crazy. That's the farthest away show I've ever done and the coldest. But yeah, you know what? You never know what a friendship, partnership will lead to, so I'm very grateful for him.
And that's something like I cherish too. Like any friendships that I develop with anybody like yourself, like for me, it's always important because you say, hey, I was just at this show, and you gotta talk to him. He's awesome. You know what I mean? Like that could lead into something. Like I always say to people, you never know, because the respect factor will always be there.
Mhm.
To respect you as a artist of what you're doing is again amazing. To have over 1 million streams on Spotify
Thank you.
is like unbelievable. And do it before the age of 21.
Yes, that's true. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's you know what? It's hard work, but hopefully we'll get to 2 million soon. I'm a big I'm
I
a big
believe you
goal.
will. I mean, I think you will because people are going to really hear your voice and see how talented you are. And, hopefully, you get that huge record deal, you know what I mean? But, the fact that at the age of 20 is how you present yourself is so well. And, you know, that's very hard to see in a young soul like yourself because kids you're not I shouldn't say kids, young adults at your age are going for the popularity, not the hard work, and you're putting in the time and the hard work, which is very commendable, which you don't see much these days.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I guess definitely grew up doing a lot of hard work. You know, I never really realized it until you kind of look back on it. In the moment, you're just going, 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 trying to do everything you can. But then whenever I look back and see what I did, even when I was 12, when I was 13, I'm like, man, I don't even know how I did that. Like, some days I would have 3 shows in one day. My parents, luckily, have been my biggest support system. I have my mom, dad, and stepmom. So they would drive me everywhere. They would take me 8 a.m. practice to midnight. Like, luckily, I had them. But yeah, some days I'm just looking back and I'm like, man, if I had to go back and do that right now, I don't know. It would be a little hard. I don't know how I did it.
I mean, just because you said that with your parents and your stepmom to help you is a huge thing. You know what I mean? Again, not people forget to mention their parents. You know what I mean? Except when they're winning their Grammys and hey, thanks to my parents, but to hear that at the age of 20 is a cool thing because you don't hear that all the time. And that's something, I really appreciate that, as a parent too now, you know what I mean? When I hear thank you, daddy, and thank you for doing this, thank you for taking me there, thank you for doing this, it makes you feel like you did something good.
Yes.
And that's something you do cherish and appreciate. And I know your parents have to be, even your stepmom, I'll say all three, are very proud of you, what you have becoming and what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, they're very supportive, and like I said, like without them, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. So I'm very grateful to them. And even now, even though I'm older, I still need them. I still
Mhm.
need them, their help, and they're still my best friends. So yeah, no, I definitely am glad to have that good connection with them and to have their support.
And that's awesome because one thing I've seen people and their parents is in just watching TMZ and the news, and you can see how this one's divorcing their parents because of the money rights and stuff like that. So I mean, to have that great connection with your parents is one of those most important things because you never know when you're going to need them.
Yes, no, for sure. I definitely, I'm very glad for them. And yeah, like I said, it's just a big help. And my whole career wouldn't have been possible without them. So that's a big factor of it as well, especially just those late nights, early mornings, all the driving. Crazy.
All, everything that goes with it in between too.
Yep.
And practicing the driving, you're right, because you could drive a 2 hour show to a 2 day show to
Yeah.
drive. So, I mean, I commend your parents too for doing all that because that's sacrifice on their part.
Yes.
Same thing I'm doing with my daughter with her dance competition. So,
Yep. Yep.
and
Very dedicated. So
and
thank you for all the parents. Thank you on behalf of the children.
yes, definitely. I mean, I give my wife a lot of credit because she's off on Saturdays, and then if I can get there after work, I go right after work too to be there. So, it's not easy for every single parent or single or married parents. It's hard.
Mm,
And you know what? When you have a dedicated parents like yours, that means the world to you.
yes. Yep, for sure.
So now I have a good question. Who's one? Actually, no, I should say, name three people who you would love to play with.
Oh gosh, there's a lot. I would
Well,
say
now it's your top three. I gotta give top three.
Oh goodness. Let me think here. Well, luckily, you know what? One of them who I would have said in my top three, I already have got to play with, which would have been Nancy Wilson, because I
Right.
love her. But luckily, I had the amazing chance to play Crazy on You and Barracuda live with her a few years ago, and that was amazing. So luckily, I don't have to put her in my top three because my dream came true. So that one,
Nice.
she's the honorable mention. But let's see here. Number one, I do love the band Ghost. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're
I've
like a
heard of them.
yeah, they're like a Swedish metal band, and
Yep.
their lead front man is named Tobias Forge, and he does like all the instruments as well on their
Mm.
recorded music. So yeah, he would be one of them for sure. Tobias Forge of Ghost. I always now I'm not sure about now, but I always had the dream of playing or doing something with Axl Rose, even though I know now it's not the same as it was back then. Axl Rose is one of my top of all time. Um, and number three, I would say another one of my favorites of all time is Avril Lavigne. Love
Okay.
to do anything with her. She's Canadian.
I was
She's
about to say she's Canadian too,
yeah, yeah.
so
She's from near where I'm from, and she was just like a big influence on me. So if I could, like play one song with her or do anything, that would be amazing. Like those are my top three. But if I could do 10, there'd be so many more.
I
Like
can only imagine.
just so many. There's amazing musicians who I'd love to collaborate with. But yeah, those would be my top three.
I really hope you do get a chance to collaborate with Avril and hopefully with Axel because to even from his younger days even to his older days he can still hit those notes, you know what I mean? And to see Guns N' Roses perform, which I've luckily have seen twice in my entire life,
Oh,
um, it's an amazing thing to see because the shows he puts on to the even watching him on MTV Music Awards and see him like for me a few of my favorite songs is definitely Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, November Rain, Don't Cry, some of my favorite
yeah.
songs. Two of them are ballads, I totally get it,
I
but
love Don't Cry. Don't Cry is one of my favorites. I perform that one a lot. That's one of my faves.
okay, so that's one of my favorites. Even the music video, them on
Yeah.
top of the building,
Yep.
it's just one of those memories that you hear the song, you know it. I think it's probably one of their best ballads besides November Rain.
Mhm.
Um, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, for me, when it came to their hardcore rock, Welcome to the Jungle, something we always practice at football. That was one of those songs. As soon as you get in, right before game time, we blast that song, and we are all singing that song, which not in tuned because we all have bad voices,
Oh gosh.
but one guy could do "We're gonna die." He hit that high pitch really well. One of my
Oh
teammates.
wow.
So we're like, take it. So you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just to hear the music, but to hear your version, but also your words of your lyrics. It has the storytelling,
Thank you.
you know,
Thank you.
and it's part of you and who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as we're getting on, you're getting ready to get your album ready in September, which I'm looking forward to hearing it and seeing it and watching it myself.
Thank you.
I cannot wait. What I guess what are your big dreams of like doing your own act, like opening, who would open up for you if you were the main showstopper?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Well, yeah, man, I'd have to think of some people. I mean, I really love The Warning. They're
Okay.
really and the Three Sisters playing everything. Um, who else do I really love? I know they're much bigger than me right now, but one day, you never know. Um, who else do I really would love to open? I mean, I would love to open for Avril Lavigne. I don't
Hmm.
think she would ever open for me, but I would love to open for her. That would be amazing. There's a lot of just great young female rock acts. The band Plush, they're a really
Yeah.
cool all-girl band. They're pretty reckless. I've always loved. I mean, if I could open for them, that would be a dream come true. But yeah, one day, you never know. So yeah, I do love a lot of like female-based acts. But you know what? One day, if there was someone who was doing it like me, where they're doing all the instruments and it's just them, it's not a full band, it's just one
Right.
person. I'd love to have that type of person open for me too, because that's what I don't see too often. So someone who could do that would be a great option as well. Really, really cool.
You know what? You might inspire somebody after this interview because you never know.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, Sarah, I really appreciate your time. You know what I mean? I think you and I could sit here and talk for hours.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to me. And hopefully we can schedule again because I
Yeah.
love to hear more stories and hear the process of what you're doing and everything too. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yeah,
Going
for
from
sure.
Canada to Santa Monica to travel to the East Coast for your guitar, your teacher over here in Jersey, which he's representing. So, things like that doesn't happen to everybody, and that's one thing. Your dreams are coming true.
I
And
hope so. Yes, thank you.
and that's one thing, I always say, just keep your dreams alive because you just don't know. Like my dream is to have one day the biggest podcast out there, you know what I mean?
There we go.
And that's been a dream of mine where, you know, to have some of the biggest names come on. One day it'll happen. I've had some big Jersey names here, which is great for
Awesome.
me. But to get someone like an Axl Rose
Yeah. Uh-huh.
or LA Guns
Yeah.
or, you know, Joan Jett, something like that, that would be a dream come true.
Yes. No, I can imagine. And hey, you know what? Maybe I'll pass on the podcast to LA Guns guys.
Yeah,
I feel like they would probably do it. I'll send them a message and say, "Hey guys, check it out."
yeah,
How's that?
definitely. And I'm definitely going to be following you on TikTok and Instagram, so I will definitely be keeping in touch.
Awesome.
So before we do sign off for the night, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on all social media platforms under the name Sierra Levesque Music, exact same username, and then you can find me on all streaming platforms under Sierra Levesque, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, anywhere where you listen. You can find me. Please follow, and yeah, hope to be back on the show later this year, maybe when I release the album. That'll be
Yeah,
great.
I would love to have you back on right before the album release, record
Thank you.
before the album release. If you let me know the date and then we'll schedule something. We'll
Awesome.
we'll we'll do that. You know what I mean? And we'll definitely look forward to it. So guys, here it is. Dreams come true. She's worked her life for it. She's done it and she's still doing it. And she's got a long career, which is
Thank
an
you.
amazing thing. So Sierra, thank you for coming tonight. I'm looking forward to having you back on the show again, and we'll definitely keep in touch, all right?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You
Thank you.
too.
I really appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.